The Battle of Crecy, fought on August 26, 1346, was a significant conflict during the Hundred Years' War between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of France. It is one of the most famous battles of the war and marked a turning point in military tactics and the use of technology in warfare. Background: the battle occurred during the first phase of the Hundred Years' War, a prolonged series of conflicts between England and France over territorial claims and the right to the French throne. Edward III of England had launched an invasion into France, aiming to assert his claim to the French crown. After a successful campaign in Normandy, Edward's forces found themselves in a precarious position, pursued by a much larger French army led by King Philip VI. The forces: English army, led by King Edward III. The English forces numbered around 9,000 to 15,000 men, including infantry, dismounted knights, and a significant contingent of longbowmen. French army. The French army, commanded by King Philip VI, was much larger, with estimates ranging from 20,000 to 40,000 troops. The French forces consisted of heavily armored knights, crossbowmen, including Genoese mercenaries, and foot soldiers. The battle. Edward III chose a strong defensive position on a ridge near the village of Crecy-en-Ponthieu in northern France. The English army was arrayed in 3 divisions, with archers placed on the flanks and at the front. The English longbowmen played a crucial role in the battle's outcome. The battle began with a series of French attacks, but the Genoese crossbowmen, who were supposed to soften up the English lines, were ineffective. They were quickly overwhelmed by the English longbowmen, whose faster rate of fire and greater range wreaked havoc on the advancing French forces. When the French knights charged, they faced the same devastating longbow fire, which disrupted their formations and caused heavy casualties. Despite repeated charges, the French could not break the English lines. The battlefield became a chaotic scene as wave after wave of French knights fell to English arrows or became mired in the muddy ground, where they were vulnerable to English infantry. The French forces eventually broke and fled, leaving the English with a decisive victory. Significance: the Battle of Crecy was a landmark in military history for several reasons. Longbow. The battle demonstrated the effectiveness of the English longbow, which became a symbol of English military prowess. Tactical shift. It highlighted the shift away from the dominance of heavily armored knights and cavalry charges, signaling the decline of traditional medieval chivalric warfare. Psychological impact. The defeat had a demoralizing effect on the French nobility and emboldened the English in their war efforts. Prelude to Calais. Following the victory at Crecy, Edward III was able to lay siege to the port of Calais, which eventually fell to the English in 1347, giving them a strategic foothold in France for many years. The Battle of Crecy set the stage for future English victories in the Hundred Years' War and is often compared to later battles like Agincourt, where similar tactics led to similarly overwhelming successes for the English forces.